Drivers, thank you for your hard work and your commitment to keeping the economy running. You are the heroes of the supply chain. I'm Angela Roach, and this is Behind the Wheel, powered by Hire Master. The Women in Trucking Association Index, an annual benchmark that measures the percentage of women employed in the transportation industry, detected that the percentage of female technicians employed by transportation companies continues to remain low. On September 12th, the 2020 Women in Trucking Associations Index reported 13.7% of all truck drivers surveyed are female, and 3.7% of technicians working for transportation companies are women. Ellen Boyd, the founder and CEO of the Women in Trucking Association, released a statement bringing attention to the shortage of women in the industry, stating, quote, "There is a severe shortage of diesel technicians, and women can play a role in addressing this need. Our foundation provides scholarships to women seeking training in this area as well, and we make every effort to promote this career to women." End quote. The Women in Trucking Association Index has published its statistics since 2016. However, reports previously published did not include common office positions such as operations, human resources, management, or sales. The 2022 Women in Trucking Association Index report is the first year to include percentages of technicians in its annual survey. Along those same lines, with a majority of carriers facing a shortage of drivers, many trucking companies are turning to younger drivers to solve the problem. During the recent IANA Intermodal EXPO in Long Beach, several sessions were held to discuss the challenges of trying to recruit drivers in their early 20s as opposed to right out of high school. For blue collar workers, waiting 3 years to be able to recruit a driver is often too late. A view shared by Ben Banks, Vice President of TCW Inc., who stated, quote, "When you're 21, you've probably found a career plan. You're excelling in it," end quote. Several local port authorities have started apprenticeship programs to encourage high school graduates to consider a career in the industry, placing them in non driving jobs until they are eligible to drive. But too many, that is not enough, as the population continues to grow and driver shortages are estimated to be in the range of 160,000 drivers in the near future. As the government pilots a new program with younger drivers, the real change needs to happen on local workforce boards and in high school counselor offices, according to Dave Harrison, the Executive Director of Workforce Development and Government Relations for Fastport. Quote, "Policy is made there, and billions of dollars are spent. That is money that could help you pay for programs, training drivers. And there is not a high school education counselor that is evaluated on how many people go into a trade school or apprenticeship." End quote. If you know friends and family interested in tackling the driver shortage, direct them to hiremaster.com, the premier job search engine for drivers. Last week, we had a clip from Dr. Mark Manera of Supply Chain Fitness giving us easy exercises that drivers can do anywhere while on the road. For this week's health fitness tip, we go back out to Dr. Mark Manera for another great tip.
Goes on and 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 on. On and 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 on. On and on and on.
Thank you for the great tip, Mark. You can find more tips from Mark on TikTok at Dr. Mark Manera. In the news this week, the 2022 Intermodal EXPO, an event that brings the North American freight supply chain together, discussed California's Assembly Bill 5, also known as AB5, which is the state statute that has been in effect for 2.5 months. Mark Blueball, a partner at Transportation and Logistics Group, Benish, Friedlander, Copeland, and Arnoff, led a panel discussion on AB5 and said, quote, "California has now escalated the battle with the enactment of AB5," end quote. Chris Shimoda, the Senior Vice President of Government Affairs for California Trucking Association, announced the state of California declared the 29th of August as the official date enforcement will begin on AB5. While fleets are subject to enforcement, Blueball stated, quote, "One hopes there is a de facto soft enforcement for a period of time, but it is coming. You don't want to find yourselves in the crosshairs when that happens," end quote. As reported by Transport Topics, enforcement action can be administered from the government or any attorney who tackles the case. Shimoda urged owner-operators and independent drivers to be mindful and stay engaged. To learn about the new law and how to stay in compliance, visit dir.ca.gov/DLSE. On September 19th, the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration, also known as the NHTSA, released statistics for traffic fatalities on U.S. roads in the second quarter. For the first time since 2020, traffic fatalities on U.S. roads have declined. As reported by NHTSA, there were 10,590 traffic fatalities from April through June, in comparison to the same period in 2021. This is a decrease of 4.9%. The NHTSA acting administrator Ann Carlson released a statement alongside NHTSA reports stating, quote, "Although it is heartening to see a projected decline in roadway deaths in recent months, the number of people dying on roadways in the country remains a crisis." End quote. According to the data reported by the Federal Highway Administration, even though the total amount of driving in the U.S. increased by 2.8%, the rate of traffic fatalities during the first half of the year went down to 1.27 per 100 million vehicle miles traveled. With the number of drivers behind the wheel increasing, safety should be the number one priority. Don't forget to check in and see how you can improve your safety. In this week's Weather Watch, today is the autumn equinox, the official start of the fall season, eventually bringing heavy rain and/or cooler temperatures to most of the United States. Expect heavy rain in areas such as the Pacific Northwest, Central and Southern Rockies, and in the eastern Great Lakes. Other areas that could expect light rain are the Central Plains, the Central Mississippi Valley, as well as much of Florida. Temperatures in the South and Midwest are still residing in the high 80s and 90s. However, those temperatures will be cooling off across the nation as the week wears on. Over the next few weeks, we should see temperatures continue to drop. Hurricane Fiona is still a ways off from Florida. However, high winds will cause Fiona to continue to move northwestward towards Florida and will continue to update you each week. If you find yourself moving into or out of Florida, check local weather to be advised regarding hurricane warnings. And that's going to do it for Behind the Wheel. I'm Angela Roach. Be sure to follow us on LinkedIn and subscribe on YouTube to catch each episode and leave us a like and a comment. We'll see you next time on Behind the Wheel, powered by HireMaster.